Hello and welcome to the Global Council by One Global. I am Subarna, and in today's episode, we're exploring how globalization and international cooperation are shaping the future of law firms. I am joined by Mr. Vasco Leal Cardoso, international consultant at Leal Cardoso Advogados. Over his 25-year career, Vasco has built a reputation for leadership, resilience, and a strong focus on results, helping clients and teams navigate cross border challenges. Mr. Vasco, it's a pleasure to have you with us today.
Hello, Subarna, back again. Pleasure to see you once again. It's always a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you. Let's start by understanding the big picture. How has the rise of globalization and internationalization most notably influenced law firm operations and client demands in recent years?
I think it has a huge impact in the way we see our activity nowadays. In the early 2000s, regarding Europe, for example, we didn't have that much image of globalization. And then things started to change with lots of immigration. And when we speak about immigration, we speak about in a very different points of view regarding immigration. We have people that need to move to survive. We have also on the other extreme people that need to move because they manage big companies. And we have the medium level of people that want to change life, want to search for a better life. And all the changes, especially that we have in the world regarding the big crisis of 2007, 2008, we all felt the need to change, to move, to search for another things. And that's, I think at that precise moment, there was a mix of some some new tools that helps us a lot in our activity. It was very easy to travel. It was very low cost. It was a very low cost way of moving from one place to another. It was very easy to be near the client. It became very easy to more than this for a long time to use internet connections and to be once again near the client. Problems started to happen and the possibilities of work started to happen in a globalized point of view, not in a regional point of view. So from that moment on, you feel the changes and you feel how some markets and how some areas of the world become more interesting for living, for work, for doing business. And for us lawyers, we need to be in those places because some immigrants may need our help regarding a tax document, an authorization to live in another place, or a manager of a company needs to find a school or a house or whatever for their family to live and to move from one part of the world to another. And these are the kind of problems that for us lawyers became more day by day basis than the usual thing that we used to do on court, on our city, on our country. That still exists. And some people need us to go to court because they are non-resident or they don't live in Portugal, for example, my country, and they need help here. But on another hand, there are lots of opportunities for us lawyers to give some consultancy, for example, to big companies that work all over the world. And if my friend that is Portuguese has a nice company in Portugal, but he wants to go to Spain, to France, to India, doesn't matter, he will ask me for help. And I need to be prepared for it. I need to speak languages. I will need to travel. I will need to know the culture of other countries. So this changed a lot our activity. We are no longer regional. We became global. And it is very important for us lawyers to be prepared for it.
And continuing on that, in what ways are legal services adapting to the increasingly global nature of businesses?
We need to adapt. We have no choice. We have absolutely no choice. Either we will adapt, and as we usually say, go up or go out. If you don't adapt, you're out of the game. So if we speak about the traditional lawyer that still has the idea that he will do a nice work. It can be technically good in some specific area, but in my opinion, he will have less chances or no chances to move on in this new world as a lawyer. because you need to go up, you need to move on, and you need to show your clients that you know what you're talking about. You know about new technologies, you know about business, you know about what is happening in other areas of the world. And if your client doesn't have that feeling because he looks at you and he says, no, you're my lawyer from my region, from my small town, and I cannot trust you to search for another market, to do business in other parts of the world, you will have no work. So you do need really to adapt and to move on.
Like the business world's growing interconnectedness definitely pushes lawyers to rethink every aspect of their work. So,
Yes.
moving to the topic of collaboration, what are the key benefits and challenges of law firms entering into strategic alliances or participating in international legal networks?
It's the best solution, the easiest solution, the most pragmatic solution, because as you know, we lawyers have restrictions to work in other countries. If we don't have an authorization, me as a Portuguese lawyer, I can't work in Spain, or I can't work in France or Italy. I can do it if I have an authorization. If my professional abilities to work in my country are recognized in other countries, it's okay if I have that authorization. Otherwise, I can do it. So I need this kind of cooperation and legal alliances to prepare myself, my business, my office to answer my clients the best way possible. So if my client has a problem in Singapore, I can't help him directly, but I will find a solution with my colleague from Singapore that belongs to my alliance, to my network, to the connections that I have. And I'll coordinate work with him, and we will work together in a new business, in a new possibility, and it will become work for both. It will be easy for him because I trust him. It will be good for him because he will have more work brought by a colleague. And for our clients, it would be so nice because my direct client will feel comfortable because he has me. And if I tell my client, trust me, I have a good professional in Singapore or in London or in Los Angeles, he will feel okay with that. He will feel safe and secure with that. And this is why I usually say that my best clients are nowadays my colleagues from my network, lawyers. These are the colleagues, these are the clients that bring me more work now. And this is just like a coincidence, sorry, a consequence of being part of a good network companies and having this strategy of having good connections. This is essential nowadays.
On a related note, how do legal networks differ from mergers or other forms of firm expansion in advancing cross border client service?
Once again, as I said, it's the easiest way, because if you think about having an office on another country, you will need to have a representative there. You will need to have a specific authorization from a bar association. You will need to be technically prepared for it and being recognized as a lawyer in this country. Almost impossible to do it without spending a huge amount of money. If you think about having uh, IT, if you think about having good connections and technology, if you trust the colleagues and the network that where you belong, and I do trust, it's so easy and so less expensive to do it. It's so easy also to show our clients that we can answer almost immediately. Because think about this: if your client calls you and says, I need some help from Los Angeles tomorrow morning. If you don't belong to this network and if you don't have these connections, it will be almost impossible to find someone you trust to solve your client's problem tomorrow morning. On another hand, if you belong and if you have this network, if you belong to these alliance groups, uh, you just send a message. You know that you have these connections. I've met a lot of friends, for example, in Singapore, people that I trust, people that I see myself on them. Okay? So I say, if I had a problem, I would trust my colleague to solve this situation. And this is so easy to do and so less expensive to do this way, instead of thinking about opening an office, finding a place to work, finding colleagues in other countries to whom you will have to pay, and to have all the authorizations to create a new office. And this also brings you to another situation. You have like 4 or 5 big companies, the 4 or 5 financial companies that are well known all over the world. They have this strategy. But with all the respect, I think they all should think about looking to the competitors that may have on a lower level, because we are not big companies, but we can have an answer, we can have an immediate answer, we can have information to our clients at a lower price with an immediate answer, with giving clients enough comfort for them to feel that they no longer need to go to big companies to pay huge amounts of money to solve their problems. They have other solutions, and they have people with good connections, with good network that can solve their problems also in this point of view. Not with thinking about opening up offices in other countries. Instead of it, they should belong to these network alliances. I have absolutely no doubts that this is right now the present and will be the future for us to solve problems to our clients.
Importantly, what role does trust and culture play in the success or failure of such alliances?
Once again, it is essential. If you go to other countries, you need to, first of all, you need to respect, to be respected. So, and in order to respect, you need to know how is the culture of the destination, of your destination. If I go to Singapore, I need to know how people live there. What are their habits? What is their culture? And it is so easy to prepare it if I have someone that I trust to inform me, to teach me and tell me, Vasco, don't do this. Vasco, go this way. Vasco, please have in mind this point and that point. If I put myself on the direction of going to Singapore thinking that I'm the best lawyer in the world, that I will arrive there and do all the things because I am a very good professional, huge mistake. And I will do mistakes, definitely. So this is also the safest and the respectful way of going to another countries, because we have different cultures in the US, in Europe, in Asia, in the Far East, in the Middle East. We have different cultures. We need to respect, we need to know people, we need to know how to talk with these people. We don't know everything, and we're not the Superman, and so we need help to do that. It's easy like this. It's so easy. It's just like this. If you think that you're going to solve all the problems because you're better than the others, big mistake, and you will know you do it.
Right. And knowledge of the culture, it often does become the glue that holds cross border partnerships together, right? So let's talk about the role of information. Why is robust knowledge management essential for law firms operating globally?
The most important thing for clients is to be informed, and to be informed and to have answers in a short period of time. When my client asks me here something about London or Berlin, I will need to be in immediate contact with my colleagues, share information with him, have answers, translate answers, present to my client in order to give him enough comfort to say, okay, we want to move to London, and we know that we are prepared for it. So sharing information, making a good coordination with all the contacts, because you have operations where you need to work at the same moment in China and in the US. And you're in the middle of this. For example, in Portugal, I used to speak with my colleagues in China and the US around 8 p.m. at night, because you have this difference of hours that would allow you to speak with your client, with your colleagues at decent hours. Let's call it this way. And you need to coordinate all this information, prepare information, give answers to your client, and make him feel comfortable. We need to coordinate all this information so well, and to answer, be prepared, and have enough knowledge to answer their doubts and then answer their questions in a fast and comfortable way. Once again, alone, you can do it. Either you have good connections, good network, and people that you trust to give this answer, either in Los Angeles or in Beijing.
So, with the advancement in technology, what are the effective practices for maintaining confidentiality and client integrity while sharing insights across borders.
As you know, the first answer to that question is that clients should be aware, and I think they are that ethically speaking, we all lawyers have confidentiality. That's the first situation. So when we speak with our colleagues in this network and these legal alliances that we build, trying to have a nice cooperation all over the world, we colleagues, we lawyers all have the same ethical principles and the same ethical rules. Okay. And this is essential for clients. On another hand, there's a risk and it exists, but is the risk that we need and we have to calculate and manage of sharing information with other colleagues all over the world and having someone in the middle that may get this information, but you can't solve all these problems. Okay. You can think about this. You can inform your client and tell me it's up to you. This may be a risk. I don't think it is a risk, or if it is a calculated risk. But this is some information that you need or you should transmit to your client and tell him, please attention, because regarding all the connections that we have in 3 or 4 different parts of the world, some information may be intercepted or someone can get this information that doesn't belong to our network. And we just don't know how to control this because this is the risk of the evolution. If you think about this, you will stay at home looking at your television and say, I won't do nothing because I have the risk of, no, come on. There's always a risk. Should be calculated, should be controlled the best way possible and the best way you can. There are risks. We inform clients, but the most important thing is to give comfort to clients, saying, don't forget that we are all doing these operations between lawyers and we have confidentiality. We have our rules, our ethical rules, and we will all respect them. The rest is a game, and you cannot control it 100%.
So, okay, now switching the gear to business models. So, how do globalization and cross border considerations influence the choice between LLPs and private limited companies for law firms and clients?
That question may have had 2 answers. When you give advice to a client, you need to inform your clients and to tell them the best possible models to go to another part of the world, either with a company, joint venture, any model. And you need to be prepared to inform your client. And I won't be prepared to inform my client regarding the rules of India, for example. I won't be prepared. So I'll need to be in contact with my colleague from India and tell him we need to prepare some operation with some by the constitution of a company, any other vehicle that allows our client to come from Portugal to India and start working here. And this is the point of view regarding the clients. If your question goes to lawyers, I wouldn't build a company to work as a lawyer in another country right now. I wouldn't do it. I would prefer to use other vehicles. And once again, cooperation with the colleagues, good network connections, but you keep your company working in your homeland. Doesn't matter if you work solely, if you work in a company, it doesn't matter. The most important thing is for you to maintain your company here and have good connections with other countries and do this cooperation with other colleagues that will stay in their countries also. But having this mix of building companies just to share work or being globalized, I don't think that is the option, or that may be the solution to that may bring good results either for us and for clients. Absolutely no doubt that the best solution for us is to keep and maintain our identity in our homeland, but build these bridges between countries to work and solve clients' problems on the easiest way. Less expensive, easy to work, easy to do.
Talking about bridging countries and jurisdictions and practices, how do you think international legal networks assist firms and their clients in navigating differing legal frameworks?
That's the most important thing here, because we need to have in mind that if some client of ours from Brazil or from Africa has a problem in Portugal, I'll give you this example. We have a huge community of Brazilian and people from Angola, Mozambique in Portugal. If someone has a problem here, I will probably get a phone call from a client or a colleague in Brazil saying, Vasco, our client is there, is in Portugal, and he needs legal assistance because we understand absolutely nothing of Portuguese law. And we are talking about a Brazilian that speaks Portuguese also. But if someone arrives from China or US, he will come here and you will understand absolutely nothing. And this is very important for us to give our colleagues in Brazil, in the US, in China, show them that we have the legal skills and we have the legal knowledge, and very important, not only the legal knowledge, other instruments, just like speaking languages, knowing their culture, being informed about their needs, knowing the business of the client to deal with the situation in the courts, in a legal point of view. That is the point where all these corporations should be seen as most important, because we need to give comfort to these people that have problems and come from one totally different part of the world. And they need to feel safe and they need to feel okay by the protection of a lawyer that is prepared in this specific country to help them. This is the most important point from this kind of alliance, because it also gives you the possibility, not in the place where the problem is happening, but on the homeland of your clients, where you say, don't worry, we have someone in Portugal or we have someone in London that will take care of this. We trust this colleague, he's a nice colleague, he's very professional, he's a part of our network. We work with him and he will solve the problem. There's nothing better than this for the client. So this is what we need to show them. Very important to show that we lawyers are prepared to give these answers to clients.
Looking ahead, what strategic advice would you give to law firms seeking to expand their international footprint or deepen global alliances?
I would say that lawyers need to do a lot. Lawyers need to do a lot to be at the same level as other activities have in a globalized world nowadays. I used to say that in 2010 I started once again during this crisis, 2009, during the big crisis that we have at that moment. I started to share with my colleagues at the office the need to globalize, to search for another markets, to search for other markets, and to search for another alternatives to work. And I've made a program in Madrid about managing your own office. It was a master of 1 year where you learn how to manage your office in human resources, in financial point of view, with technologies, etc. With managing projects in a legal point of view, very interesting. This was 2009, 2010, and that at that moment, some lawyers were already concerned about their future and how to manage and how to deal with their own office to be able to give good answers and the correct answers to clients, and to show clients that they were prepared to help them in a globalized world. 15 years have passed. I've made a lot of programs related with these areas, with the needs of getting more information to look for the future. And sometimes I speak with some colleagues of ours, and I feel they have the idea that no, I'm very good at this specific area in my country, so I'm okay. It won't be okay. It won't have future, because new technologies, online courts, the need of speaking languages, IT tools, you need this. And if you're not prepared with these tools to face the present and the near future, you won't be able to work as a lawyer. And I think our colleagues should look at this on a different point of view. They should know how to manage better their own office. They should know, or they should search for other tools to help them, not only the legal skills. That is essential. You need to be a very good professional regarding the legal skills that you have. That is the basis. But from that point on, you need to know business. You need to know IT. You need to know languages. You need to travel. You need to be near your client. You need to be pragmatic. You need to calculate risk. You need to know legal project management. You need to know legal engineering. You need to know legal design. And most of us don't know it. And if we don't study every year, every moment, all these areas, because have in mind and don't forget that in other countries that is possible. In Portugal that's not possible. A law firm cannot have other people as shareholders or partners that are non lawyers. So you need to be a lawyer to be inside a law firm, at least as a partner or a shareholder. But it is essential to have someone that knows financial, that knows legal marketing, that knows other areas that complete the image that you need to show to your clients. And if you don't have it, you don't have future. Once again, I have absolutely no doubts about it.
Throwing some more light on your programs and when you're talking about managing your own office, how can firms foster a culture that balances knowledge sharing with competitive advantage in our global life?
It is essential. You have different points of view regarding the tools that you may have. IT nowadays we speak about a lot about it, but document review. You need to share and have a specific department with an IT tool that has all the documents that to manage in your office. Because I'm in Portugal now today, but tomorrow I can be in Hong Kong and I may need a document, and I will need to ask my colleagues at the office, where is this document of this specific client? I no longer need to do it because I have a tool where I can get into the tool and say, I need this document from this client. Here it is, Vasco, in 2 seconds, in 5 seconds. And I will answer my client. Here it is, the document that you need, the document that you need to present in this with this. This is a specific tool that allows you to give immediate answer to clients and have all the information and all the documents totally organized inside your office. And you don't need to have a wall totally full of documents, an archive with documents of your clients. No, you have it in your laptop. So you take it all over the world. And if you need to answer a phone call or answer an email from your client asking for some specific document in 5 seconds, you can give the document to your client. Even better, you can share the documents with your clients with a specific tool also that opens with a code, opens the doors of these specific documents to your client. So each time your client needs a document, he goes there, he opens with the code, he opens the door and the access to his information, and you'll have all the documents on court, all the documents that he shared with us. It's all there. It's so easy for the client to have this. On another hand, you need a specific tool to manage your office and to know if your clients are paying you well or not. Because if you ask your clients 500 euros to do something, and at the end you go to your program and see that you worked for your clients for 40 hours, he will say, 500 euros to pay 40 hours. No way. Thank you very much. I don't want to work with you anymore. Or we need to change our business model. But you need to have this documentation, this information with you. Otherwise, you cannot show it to your client. You cannot organize your company, and you will have absolutely no idea about the price that you're working for your clients. If you don't have these tools, if you don't have a translation tool, for example, you can't work properly. You can't work and give a nice answer in a short period of time. You cannot give good answers to your clients. So you need to bring all these tools to your office, and your office is now your laptop. You no longer need to have a huge office in a rooftop in New York or no. You have a nice laptop, you have good conditions to work, you can work on a plane, you can work on a hotel, you can work on an office also, but you no longer need it. So we need to rethink this, the kind of tools that we need to work, and the IT tools, just like these examples that I gave you, I think that are essential nowadays for it to work.
Thank you. That was very insightful. Like all of the information that you just shared, which is I feel very important with everything that we are talking about so far. We'll wrap up with some quick fire questions. So the first question: one essential quality for a successful international alliance.
Being pragmatic.
A technology that will most impact global legal networking over the next decade.
No doubts, AI. Absolutely no doubts about it.
Internationalization reduces risk for law firms. Is that a myth or reality?
I think it is reality. Reduces, you said reduces. I think it is reality. Not only for law firms, but also for clients.
So, most common mistakes that firms make when forming cross border alliances.
They go for themselves instead of asking for help from someone they should know on the destination, on the place where they want to go. If I go there and we're back again on our conversation, each time you go to other country, to a different country, you need to prepare yourself to go there. And the best way to go there is to trust and to find someone that is native that can help you. It will be so easy. If you go alone, the risk of causing problems, of having problems, going to the unknown is not the best option.
Okay, if you could ask one key question to any firm considering global partnership, what would it be?
The big ones nowadays that have offices all over the world. My question would be, have you ever thought that you are losing your market and the middle lower lawyers are going to take your position on a globalized world? Because I think they are not looking at this the way they should. And this is a real risk. If a lower middle price lawyer is very well prepared to face the market, you will take the place of the big companies. Sure.
Thank you, Mr. Vasco. That
My
was
pleasure.
such an insightful and brilliant session I felt on globalization, internationalization, and law firm cooperation. So, where can listeners connect with you or learn more about your work?
I have my own page at lealcardoso.com. uh, LinkedIn, Vasco Leal Cardoso on LinkedIn. No, but my professional, I have international and global connections, and I'm part of World Law Alliance. That is it is nowadays an essential tool. Allow me to call it a tool to help and to do my job. And being part of this kind of group and network is essential nowadays. So search for World Law Alliance, for example. I'm part of it. But LinkedIn is a very important tool. Website, always a very important tool. And on another hand, just to finish like this, because we need to have a nice balance between work, life, and fun, because I listen to a lot of music. I try to travel a lot. It is very important for my work also. And this is the part of life that we cannot forget.
Any final advice for law firms and lawyers who are interested in thriving on the international stage?
I think this conversation is a nice advice for these people. Our conversation should be something to be heard, not by me, but because the ideas that we discuss here. The most important here are the ideas, not me. I'm not useful for this, but the ideas that I try to transmit because I've studied, I've learned, I've read about it. Okay. Most of them are not in my head. Once again, no, there's no Superman here, nothing, absolutely. It's reading, getting information, getting informed. And these ideas that we discussed here, I think may be the best insights that these people could have to face the future. Because they need to be informed, they need to study, they need to be well prepared. Otherwise, if they don't go up, once again, they will go out.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Vasco. It
My
was
pleasure.
and thank you to our audience for tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe, share, and send us your questions for future topics. Until next time, keep learning and stay globally connected.